Hey, you waffle stompers, and welcome back to another episode of 90 Day Fiancé, The Last Resort. This week is episode 4. To be honest, a bunch of nothing really happened, but also a bunch of something really happened. It got really weird. It was awkward. So this episode starts up right where we left off, where Jasmine is going off on Natalie, telling her she's never gonna find a man because she's crazy. But she basically writes her off, saying that they can't be friends. She tried to give her a chance, but she's too much.
I've been patient, I've been supportive to you, and you're acting like the brat and bitch you are. And that's why you are alone with no man can deal with it. Sick and tired of dealing with this. I've been patient. I have tried to talk to her.
But Jasmine goes in to tell all the other girls what happened, and pretty much nobody's mad at Jasmine for what she did, which I wouldn't be mad at her either, even though she did stir the pot a little bit. Stacy even said it was girl code. She was just letting her know what was up. And the whole outcome wasn't for Natalie to go off on Sophie. It was for Natalie to have a conversation with her mans, the guy that was doing everything. Which, speaking of the guy, Josh is continually trying to lie or like downplay the conversation, saying that it was just blown out of proportion. But then he goes on to say that they came to this retreat to try to like break this cycle of her just snapping at every little thing, and right now there's like pretty much no hope. Like, he doesn't see anything changing. Now Julia gets out of party mode, and she's the one person to try to settle things down. So she goes out to Natalie and is asking her what's wrong, which, girl, you saw what happened. But she's asking her like what's going on, and of course Natalie goes back into calling Sophie a hoe, saying that Josh never took her anywhere, and just going off about Sophie mostly. So Julia just directs her to a car and is like, you need to get in and you need to go home. Like, don't even talk to him, don't talk to anybody, just go on home. So Natalie ends up leaving by herself, and then she goes off to get Josh, and he's trying to go with Natalie, but she's like, no, just leave her alone for tonight and you just come back in and come party. And this fight may have gotten out of control, but it at least brought two couples together. Rob and Sophie are kikiing about this situation, and she's like, she's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years older than me. Just,
why am I gonna sacrifice who I am as a person to go down to some bitch's level that's 20, 30 years older than me, 50 years older than me, 60, like the bitch is 78 years old. I don't need to do that.
That bitch is 80 years older than you.
That bitch is 93 years old. I don't care.
they're both finding a common thing to bond on, because I guess Rob also likes the tea, which, I mean, we're all here for it. And also Gino and Jasmine, surprisingly, when Jasmine was going off on Natalie, Gino actually stepped in and trying to calm her down, get her out of the situation, and Jasmine noticed that. She was like, I felt somebody touching me, and I looked over and it was you. And it made her, I don't know, I think it was honestly the shots, because they were like looking, well, she was looking at him in some kind of way. Sometimes Gino be having that Brandon stare where he seems lost, like he doesn't know what the hell is going on, but Jasmine's giving him like the lovey eyes and stuff, and he's just like,
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
But he does say that he was really attracted to Jasmine at that point because she was real feisty, and that's what he likes, as long as it's not towards him. So it was pretty nice seeing her go off on somebody other than him. But it even brings them so close that they end up sharing a kiss. And this probably might have been their first kiss in months too, because even the next morning they end up waking up with each other, and they were both like, what the hell? So they weren't even sleeping with each other, let alone kissing, probably. But yeah, they all end up going back to the resort, and Jasmine came home. She went into the bathroom, got her PJs on, laid in the bed, and then just doesn't remember anything. And I guess they accidentally slept with each other. Not schmucks wise, but just taking a little snooze, a little nippy napper. And they both seemed happy with that outcome. And it brings Jasmine to go ahead and share her feelings, and she's apologizing, saying, I hope I don't make you feel like I don't love you. Like, trust me, I love you more than I've ever loved anybody. And Gino's response was just so sweet.
For the very first time in so long, I felt like I do have a husband, that you were my husband. I know that sometimes you feel like I don't love you, but I know in my heart that I have never loved anyone the way I love you. Anyone, you know.
Now, as Gino and Jasmine are having a good time in their room, Brandon and Julia aren't having that great of a time. Julia ends up bringing them coffee or tea or whatever was in that cup, and Julia ends up asking him why did he not sleep with her. He ended up sleeping on the couch, and he lets her know that he did not want to sleep with her because he was so mad and so embarrassed by what she did, and she is just confused on like why he even really cares. So he tells her that you can go out and dress like that for other people, but when it comes to me, like, you don't want to dress up in lingerie, you don't even want to be intimate with me, so why go share your body with other people when you're not doing it with me? And I understand what he's saying. I feel like he's definitely grown in the years slightly, just the way he talks and the way he's more conscious of what's going on, but I feel like Brandon is still very childish in some ways. So like when he's trying to like put his point across, it's more of him just like, it's like a kid just trying to get his way, but like what he's saying isn't inherently bad, it's just how he's saying it, the delivery. But he tells her, he's like, I want you to dress up for me, I want you to be sexy for me. Why are you wanting to be sexy for other people? And she's like, I'm just trying to go out and dance and look good. And he's like, nah, you are dressed like a whore. But by the end of this conversation, she basically just doesn't give a fuck and says she can do whatever she wants to do with her body and leaves. Now we go over to Josh's room, and he's in a totally separate room. And now, based back on the text, it was saying that he originally asked for a separate room regardless. So I don't know if he's always had a separate room or if after this fight he decided to get another room on his own. But he's in his own room and he's packing, and he's got a full closet of clothes, like months worth of shirts up in there. It looks like he was packed to the brim on top of the suitcases that were already packed up. But while Josh is in his room packing, he's talking to the producers, and he's just saying that he does care about Natalie, that's why he's here, but she's so goddamn crazy. Like, he just wants her to be normal and be able to act normal around other people, and not in the sense of like, oh, you're weird, but like, no bitch, you was crazy, you need to settle the hell down, you need to learn how to have a civil conversation. So he's like, I just want her to be normal and be around normal people and act normal around the normal people.
I want things to get better for Natalie. Like, I do. I want her to be happy, and I care for her. But she needs to learn how to be normal. Like, serious. She needs to learn how to be normal and how to interact with normal people.
And even says that this was one of the worst blowups, even in the top 3, which is very surprising to me because I feel like Natalie would have gone off a little bit more than this. But I guess she did flip a whole glass on somebody, go off in a bar, ask a guy if they were single. Well, not a guy, a whole bar, if there was any single men. So she definitely popped off a little bit. But before he leaves, he decides to go ahead and go see Natalie, wanting to check in on her, see where everything is before he does go, because he's going to be leaving for a few days to be with his family. But he goes to her room, she lets him in, of course, and they sit down, and she immediately has an agenda in her mind. Like, but she's asking him, so what happened? What do you think happened? Like, saying that they see things in 2 different ways, like they don't align. So she just wants to see what he saw, what the story is on his side. And of course, Josh lies. He tells her that the story was just blown out of proportion, like he was saying the night before, and that nothing ever happened between them. He never took her to Vegas. He was never flirting with her.
What's this, you fucking piece of shit? What's this?
I want to be more mad at Josh because it was like you were doing some fuckboy shit and then you're gonna try to come here and cover it up like we ain't gonna find out. But he was so calm during the situation, and it's so hard to like see the bad things that the calm person is doing when the other person is just outlandish, just crazy, screaming, bullying. Like, you're always gonna look at that crazy person and be like, bitch, you crazy. So even though he was lying, he was very calm about the whole situation. And Natalie just goes into being like, you're a damn whore. You are a low-level class whore. Like, I'ma just catch the gono from here. Like, get that herpaganosyphilades away from me. Like, she is going in on this guy. And he's like, you know what? I got a flight to catch you. I'm getting the fuck out of here. He grabs his stuff, but before he leaves, he's like, you really need to apologize to everybody because what you did was crazy. You're crazy, so I think you need to say sorry. And he ends up just leaving her, and that's that. Wait, I forgot the best part. She's over here saying, I don't want to catch whatever you got in the air, and he's like, well, let me get out of here so I don't catch crazy.
And made it incredibly difficult.
You're a whore, low class, low key whore. You everything that works, and I cannot be next to you because I'm afraid to catch something by even air.
Yeah, I'm a little afraid that I might catch crazy if we keep going this.
Got him! Got him!
Now they all start gathering up for therapy, and I love when they come in acting oblivious. Even if the producers didn't tell them what was happening, there's literally a whole area full of couches and syrups and fruits and stuff. Like, you didn't think you were gonna like be doing that portion, but now it's therapy, and I'm so concerned for Benny. But Benny does say that Ari still hasn't given him his passwords, even though she said she would, and he's like, I'm kind of confused like why she hasn't done it, but you know what, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna try so I could get those damn passwords. He is not in it at all. He's not whatsoever. They just have to stop forcing it. And then the fact that Ari picked up her and her kid, packed up all her stuff, and left the country, and now she's coming back basically demanding that he be affectionate with her is, girl, you left. You left a whole country for months, and now you're demanding him to be smoochy all over you. But the therapist comes in and she gets right to it, asking everybody how comfortable they are talking about schmecks, and not just like in general, but with their partner. And pretty much everybody's like, nah, we don't talk about that. But they bring up a pretty good point. It's a lot of it has to do with like culture things or religion. They don't talk about it, or just cultural differences where things are just not aligning in that way. But the therapist wants them to open up more, be able to show more action and affection, and talk less. So she does a whole explore type situation. A couple of them are not down with it, Julia being one, which I don't know what's going on at this point with their relationship, because at first they said they weren't doing anything because she doesn't want to have babies. But then I'm sitting here thinking like, it's so easy not to get pregnant. It really is. Like, I don't understand how people just be so that's their whole thing, is that they're not being intimate because she doesn't want to get pregnant. But I feel like it's more than just that. But the therapist is diving more deep into the situation that they're gonna be in, and Gino with his freak toe ass is like, oh, so can we play with our feet? Like, can the feet be included?
The explorer is going to take the larger paintbrush, and you're going to lightly search for places that feel good, right? It can be your neck, the small of your back.
How about your feet?
Brother, ugh.
And speaking of feet, Stacy takes off her boots and this girl ain't got no damn socks on. I'm like, girl, don't you ever wear a closed-toed shoe with no damn socks on. But the therapist puts them to work. She wants them to explore their intimacy a little bit. And she tells them to pick up the big paintbrush, and anytime you hit like a green light, a good spot, she told them to take the small brush and dip it in the syrup and mark an X. Again, I hate when they act all surprised by things, because from the get-go, once I heard, oh, mark it with the syrup, I'm like, oh yeah, they're definitely gonna eat this off. Like, there ain't no way they're not gonna do that. But yeah, later on, after they do this whole exercise, she tells them they have to lick it off, and they're all like, yeah, like freaking out. Florian is getting Stacy on her back and stuff, and like next to her butt cheeks, and this girl's like, I can't feel anything. It must be the lipo.
I don't feel anything.
I know, you're going to feel tickle right here.
Probably all the liposuction.
But we get to Sophie and Rob, and they seem to be the biggest highlight of this exercise. Sophie goes to like paint on him. She ends up painting on his big toe and on his arm, and ends up on his nipple. And once we get to the licking part, let me tell you, she's not going to be very happy, and neither is he. Now we move to Ari and Benny, and this was the most awkward. Like, I feel more bad and worse and whatever for him when I see their interactions, because it's just Ari trying to force this affection. He's like, bro, I don't want it, please. I don't want it. But she's like brushing on him and stuff. And he's like, nope, red light, nope, red light, nope, I don't like that, red light, nope. And she's like, you like this. I know you like it. Just like forcing it on him. And she's like, we've been doing it. I've done it with you. I know exactly what you like. So you can't even lie to me. You like this. You're gonna like it. And he keeps being like, no, I don't like it, please.
Red light.
This is green light.
No, red light.
This is I know for you. It's green light. You're.
Red light.
I've had with you so many times. This is not a red light.
Then we get to Julia and Brandon, and again, Julia did not want to do this. She's not even doing the exercise properly. She ain't tickling this man. She over here painting him like a fence, like she got a job to do. And I feel like he even felt it because he's like, why don't you put some goddamn sunscreen up there while you're at it? Now we get to Jazz and Gino, and Jasmine's having lots of red lights, being like, no, that doesn't feel good. No, that doesn't feel good. And this is where we get some input from the therapist. She lets them know that sometimes your partner is gonna do some stuff it's not gonna feel that great, but the best thing you can do is speak up. So why don't you instruct him, tell him where you can go, kind of like in a general area. So Jasmine flips around and starts telling him to come up to the top, and they actually kind of get it going. Now after everybody has had their fun painting around, therapist lets them know that they have to lick the syrup off of their body. And again, like I was saying, Sophie was not happy about this situation. She's like, what? I have to do what? But one person that's definitely happy is Gino. He was going to town, my friend. Him and Jasmine were making a full-on corn right there. They were getting into it. Like, if this doesn't help them, I don't know what else is gonna do it. Now we get back to Ari and Benny, and it just keeps getting worse and worse for my guy at this point. I don't even care about all the bad stuff going on in the relationship. Just the here and the now. I'm like, get this man out of the retreat. Get him out of that resort. Send him home. Give him his passwords. But she's sitting there and sucking on his arm like she's a vampire and feeding. And he's like, okay, that's enough. That's enough. And starts wiping the rest of the syrup off. But Ari is so mad because she's like, I don't understand. He does like this. I don't know why he keeps trying to lie to himself. He loves it. He loves me. I'm so sexy. Just like, girl, no, he does not want this. But she is pushing it. Now we get to Rob and Sophie, and Sophie is just sitting there while everybody is doing their thing. She's just like, no, I can't do this. And she's like, I'm definitely not doing the toe. Which, you know what? I understand. I would not either. I'd be like, held to the gnaw. But then again, my partner should know, this is the kind of feet I want. The little SpongeBob, little fin flop nub thing. I feel like everybody should be rocking that, because toe, I can't do it. So I was like, you know what? I'm not mad at it. But then there was other parts of his body that had like syrup on it, but they were zoning in on the nipple. And she's like, no, I'm not doing that either. Do you see how much syrup is on there? No, I'm not doing that. And she's pointing at Jasmine and Gino. She's like, I just don't want to look like them. And it's like, you would just be licking his chest essentially. Trust me, you're not gonna be looking like Jasmine and Gino. Like, they're on some other ish. So Rob is like, never mind, just don't even worry about it. He feels unwanted. He feels like unsexy. So he's like, nah, just don't even worry about it. I don't want you to have to force yourself to do it. And he does say that he understands that she is on the shy side. So it's not that big of a thing, but it's like, also it is at the same time, because this is like an exercise that they're supposed to be doing together. They're not supposed to be worrying about anybody else. And it's not like she's sitting here and gobbling up his booty cheeks. Like, but yeah, Rob just says he feels disgusting. And Sophie is just saying that she doesn't want things to look crazy. But while they're having their therapy, Natalie is again on her own because Josh had to leave for a few days. So she ends up calling one of the therapists because she needs to talk to them about what happened the night before. So they end up going out, finding a seat, and surprisingly, she actually fills him in correctly. Tells him everything that happened, that she ended up going off on Sophie because Josh ended up inviting her to Vegas, and she even admitted that she made a mistake and said some dirty stuff to Josh. So the therapist asks, what does she want and how is she feeling about the whole situation? And she says that she feels like her and Josh are just two different people, and that he doesn't really understand her very well, and that he does stuff to provoke her. And she says basically what I was thinking. He's so calm about the situation, but like, I guess he knows how to to push her buttons very well, but he's also very calm. I'm sure that probably would drive me crazy too, but I know not to be Natalie crazy. But then she goes into saying that she messed up and she's scared that she lost her friends that she made here at the resort and that she's gonna end up walking into a room full of enemies. And the therapist sees that she just wants to be accepted. She wants to be loved. And honestly, Natalie was having like such a sweet breakthrough, and I'm starting to feel for her, you know. I was like, damn, she's gone through it. She was saying that she was bullied and that one girl used to stick gum in her hair and just like they would do stuff and then blame her because she would get so crazy, and they were like, look it, she's a crazy person. And I was like, damn, really feeling for her. And the therapist even explains to her that her trauma from being bullied by other girls is the reason she acts out towards other women, and that she should have never gone off on Sophie, that she should have had a conversation with Josh. So she should sit down with Josh and tell him her feelings and open up about her past and things like that, and to go apologize to all the newfound friends that she made. And I was like, Natalie, I'm so proud of you. Look at my baby growing. And this interview right here made me so proud.
I know what I did last night was wrong. And I know everybody's hating me right now. I was a monster yesterday and I should apologize. But honestly, I don't I do not give a what they think.
You gotta be ashamed of yourself. How old is you is? That bitch is 80 years older than you.
That bitch is 93 years old.
This bitch is crazy. Okay, yeah, we're just gonna write her off. You thought I was for hell no. Hell no. Even watching this whole part where she was like, I was bullied and things like that. Of course, I felt for her, like, damn. As a child, I felt for child Natalie. But especially if you went through that kind of trauma when you were younger, being bullied and stuff like that, like, why would you bring that into your adult life and then use that to attack other people? Like, if you've gone through it, you should understand how that hurts people, so why would you do that to somebody else? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I feel like all of us, well, I can't say all of us, but probably a vast majority of us, because I went through it. We've all gone through bullying in school. Also, the vast majority of us know not to bully other people like that, because I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking crazy. Maybe I should start punking people around here. Maybe I'm the bitch. At first, I wanted to give her a little bit of something, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, no, this lady's crazy. And then that talking head came, and I was like, I'm good. Now, while Natalie is back with the therapist, still pretending to care, we get back to the Schmeck's therapy, and the therapist ends up moving on to another exercise. They have these big signs that are up in the front that say yes, no, maybe, and she wants all of them to take a pen and a paper and write down something that they want to try, no matter how freaky deaky it is, to go ahead and put it on this paper, and she's gonna put it in the hat, and then she's gonna read it out, and if you're a yes or no or maybe, you're gonna walk to that sign. And she does this because she wants people to obviously explore their different options and things like that, but she says that they might end up finding out that they don't really know their partner like they think they do. Now, while they're writing their questions, the only person who is clueless is Florian. He's like, what do I write? Like, what am I supposed to try? And Rob's even like, maybe he's tried everything, which highly doubt it. But I am so curious what Florian wrote on his paper. I don't care what anybody else wrote. I want to know what he wrote. Now, the therapist pulls out the first question, and it asks if anybody's willing to make a naughty tape. We got a pretty good mix on this question. Gino and Jasmine say that they have both made one, but not together. Jasmine apparently did hers for academic purposes, to teach, apparently. And I guess Gino's out here sending 10-year-old noodles.
What do you mean by that?
I recall he sending me pictures of his and then he confessed that, oh, but just to let you know, like, that picture is like from 10 years ago. So it might not look like this anymore.
Yeah, I don't recall that.
Right.
But Jasmine is on yes. She's like, yes, I'll definitely do that with my mans. And Gino is bit hesitant, so he's on maybe, but he says only for security purposes. Now, she asks an even juicier question. She asks who is willing to add a third person into the mix. And for the most part, most of the people are a no. But surprisingly, Rob and Sophie are on maybe. Kind of surprisingly, a little bit no, because I feel like, so we all know Sophie is bisexual and Rob is just a freak-a-leak. So I know Rob would be down for that. And I kind of feel like Sophie would be too, but at the same time not, because of her jealousy. But then again, who knows where things would have gone if Rob never online cheated. so I don't know. Maybe. So you know what? That maybe spot is a perfect place for them. But Rob is like super surprised because he's like, all of her jealousy issues, I would have never expected her to be over here. But now we get a serious conversation because Julia's on maybe, because she's like, yeah, you know, maybe, you know, parties could happen. I be partying. And Brandon is like not happy. He gets hella serious and he's like, are you serious right now? We're not even fucking, so why would you want to do that with somebody else? We're not doing it, but you're thinking about doing it with somebody else. How dare you think about it? So he goes off and he's like, you know what, just to spite you, I'm about to go on yes, because this is an ultimate male fantasy. 2 women and a man, I'ma go over here. So just to spite her, he goes over to the yeah side. Their whole relationship feels like childish as hell to me, because they both do stuff to each other to like spite the other person. Like when Julia picked all the biggest rocks to put in Brandon's backpack. But again, Julia don't, she doesn't care. Just like the beginning, she do not give a fuck. But now, this was the juicy part. And I'm so mad. I'm gonna tell you now, they cut it off. They cut the conversation off and I'm like, how dare you? But we get to Gino and Jasmine and they're both on yes. Like they would introduce a third person into their, you know, situation. And Gino's like, hell yeah, I would. 2 women and me? Oh yeah, that is the ultimate. That is everything I want. And Jasmine on the other hand is like, I think we have 2 different ideas here. And she goes in to say that she doesn't necessarily want a third person to be introduced, but she wants more of like her to go get her things done and handled with her needs satisfied, and then she'll come back home. She's like, no, I don't want Gino to be a part of it. I want a boyfriend.
I have started thinking about having a person that will satisfy that need from me, but it's not like a threesome.
Sounds like what you're describing is like an open relationship?
Yes.
And he's not happy. He's like, oh my gosh, I didn't expect that. And now we're in a worse position. So now I'm definitely not doing anything with her for the next year. We don't get any more than that. They just cut off the conversation. I'm like, oh my, this is what I came here for, the clucking. But I'm pretty sure they saved it specifically for next episode. It was all lined up, planned up, because I'm telling you, this next episode looks so juicy. Drama.
You even gonna get to the recommitment ceremony?
At this point, I don't know.
There's no way I can predict that.
I feel sad for these guys. I don't see change.
So be careful, glasses girls. Natalie coming.
I'm done with her.
I feel like I'm going like to a lion stand.
Florian, stop being a bad influence for my husband.
Y'all were having no.
I'm afraid.
You know, no.
Jasmine, what the f you doing? No.
So this little episode was a nice build up and a awkward split up in between the drama. They're flowing very nicely with these episodes so far. I'm not entirely sure how many episodes this season is gonna have, but I hope it has a good fair amount. They're supposed to be there for 3 weeks, which is 21 days, so 21 episodes, maybe? No, that's probably way too much. 21 is crazy. I feel like they do that now, though, with some of their seasons, like before the 90 days and stuff like that, like the newer seasons. There's just so many episodes. Either that or, I don't know, sometimes I feel like those episodes be dragging out, just like I'm dragging this video out. Let me get the hell off of here. But if you're willing to watch another, hopefully 20 plus episodes with me, because I am hoping they do make a tell-all for this season. Did they make a tell-all for last season? Am I tripping? You know what? Just like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. I'm getting out of here. But thank you guys for watching. It's always appreciated. You guys have a beautiful day. Bye.